Hi everyone, this is William Dow here at SlantRange. In this video, we're going to talk about population analysis. With growing seasons ramping up quickly in North America and throughout the Northern Hemisphere, I thought this would be a good chance to show you what SlantRange sensors and processing can do for you in the earliest stages of maturity in your fields. So you're familiar with our map and image windows. On the left, you can see this is a population density color map. On where the stress scale usually is, we now have a population scale. Areas of green correspond to roughly 25,000 plants per acre, whereas yellow and red are closer to around 20,000. As we move over the images in the data set, you can see the individual plant counts identified in green in the high-resolution images here on the right. For some more information, we can go to Display, Image, Show Metadata. And then in the top left of the image window, we have some of those properties that you might be familiar with from our stress processing, including the platform lat long and altitude data, the speed over ground, but now we have some population statistics for that particular image. So here we have an average plant density of 23,400 plants per acre. We have 59 plant rows, and then we have 4,180 plants detected in this individual image. If we want to actually count the plants in the map, we can create a custom boundary. This top left quarter, we'll draw a region, and then once that region is closed, you can see the total plants counted in that area. Here we have about 159,000. If we want to see the total number of plants in the field, we can just draw a custom boundary around the entire field. So it looks like we have about 733,000 plants total in this 33.7 acre data set. So this is oriented in triple planted skip rows, but the population processing techniques work on straight rows, standard skip rows, and a variety of other planting orientations. In this next, here I'll show you an example of corn planted in straight rows. The next color map that's available is the plant size. So in green and blue, we have the largest plants in the field. And then in red, you can see areas that are where the plants are slightly smaller. And in this field, we don't have too many weed detections, but those weed detections do show up in orange in the image window. Open up another data set here. And so here you can see the orange weed detections in between the rows. I'll touch on a few of the settings you want to be aware of when running a population processing. If we go to the settings, you can see we have the same menu for bore side offsets. That's roll, pitch, heading, and variable. And again, that was aimed at our 1P sensor that did not have inertial navigation, so you shouldn't have to deal with those. But here in the sensor calibration for population processing, we're going to leave the auto bore side alignment turned on, and then the flat fielding calibration turned off. In stress processing, we usually recommend leaving that auto flat field calibration on by default. But next, the crop details. This is an important one. You do want to enter the correct plant row spacing. And so in this case, where we have the triple planted skip rows, you're going to want to enter the smallest dimension of the spacing. And so that 12 inches is the spacing between these clustered rows, not the spacing in between the skip there. And then this crop is planted in straight rows, so we'll leave that checked. And then now in the map generation settings, you can choose to enter the density that the field was planted at if you know it. That will adjust the scaling of the map so that the areas in green represent that planted density that you entered, and then areas in yellow and red show areas that are below the expected population, and blue and darker green would be the areas that are above. We have the weed and plant size maps available, in addition to the population density map, which will always be available when you perform population processing. And then you also have this option to trim to the field boundary if known, if this is a set that you've opened before and have defined a custom boundary as the field boundary. Next, I want to talk about map resolution. This is an important one for population processing. First off, contrary to stress processing, the options for map resolution here are 1 meter, 3 meters, and 10 meters. In the stress data sets, we go from 30 centimeters up to 10 meters. And so this is not changing the resolution of the data collected by your SlantRange system. SlantView does not throw out any data depending on if you were to select a lower resolution such as 3 meters. This is just the resolution that the map products, the population density, plant size, and weed detection maps are shown at. The actual resolution of the SlantRange sensor is based on the altitude and the speed that you fly at. At a 50 meter altitude, the SlantRange 2i, 2p, and 3p systems have a resolution of 2 centimeters. The chosen map resolution here, which is 1 meter by 1 meter, means that you're going to have approximately 50 by 50 pixels in one tile of that map. So you have 2,500 pixels to draw from when SlantView computes the population density and shows an area that is yellow, red, or green. The rule of thumb to follow when selecting a map resolution is you want to pick a resolution that is larger than the spacing between the rows. If you choose a map resolution that's smaller than the spacing between rows, you could end up with areas of the map where all of the pixels in a given color map tile have no plant data. And so as long as you choose a map resolution that's larger than the spacing between the rows, you will have plant data in each tile of the map window. In the case of a field like this, map products showing blank space might not provide the most intuitive representation of the population density of the field, but if you're dealing with crops such as orchards or larger plants that are further spaced out, then maybe map products that actually show the gaps between rows do provide a more intuitive look at your field. And so you're free to experiment with different map resolutions, but again, that's not throwing out any data. It's not limiting the resolution of the images that you see in the image window. That's just the size of the tiles and thus the number of pixels that go into the application of the color scale in the map window. As always, if you have any questions, please contact us at support@slantrange.com or drop us a line on our website. And thank you for watching.